All right, what is up, YouTube? We're gonna try this again. I feel like every single week there's a different issue that hits these live videos, but thank you so much for bearing with us. And thanks for watching this replay, for those of you who are watching, and for the one person who was sitting there waiting for this to get fixed and go live again. All right, we are back live over on Facebook as well. So as usual, I've got my two different sides. Sorry about that, guys. I have yet to find a good solution for how to stream on both of these platforms simultaneously without spending a stupid amount of money. This should be a very simple thing, but I haven't seen technology that lets me do it simply and cheaply. So yeah, all right. Let me know in the comment section that you are again here. Let me know. I'm not sure if you can hear me, if you can see me, all that stuff. So let me know if we are good to go. And yeah, like, tell me where you're from. I like to see who all is watching. That's part of sort of like what makes Hustle Buddies more of a community. I don't want this to be like a me to you type of relationship. Like, I want it to be like, hey, how's it going, guys? We're all here and all that stuff. Awesome. Thanks, Ethan. Charmaine says they can see us A-okay. Awesome. Restream. All right, yeah, I'll check that out, Steven. I didn't find a good solution, but I don't think I heard about them. Awesome. So yeah. So I'll talk about a few things for those of you guys who are unaware of how these Sunday night live chats go. Usually I'll talk about a few things myself, and then I'll go into just like Q&A stuff. So whatever issues or questions you guys are dealing with. Or if somebody like wants to recommend a topic to sort of discuss here, we can go through that. So put your questions or your topic suggestions over in the comment sections, and we will get to that. So as I was saying just before the previous video was cut off and stopped, there was a really big news that recently happened regarding price gouging. Which we're going to go through. Hey, let's see. We've got Utah, Chelsea from Jacksonville. Jessica's here. Ethan's good. New Jersey, Renita, South Carolina. Chris Grant says StreamYard would be an option. Okay, yeah, I'll check that out. Yeah, because Chris, part of the problem is like I want to do it to like my page, but then I'm trying to do it on YouTube as well, and then sharing to other places. It's every week. It's just a mess, and I don't like it. We've got Michigan, Arkansas, Oklahoma. Every time I see Oklahoma, I just think of Wolverine singing Oklahoma. Da, 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 da. If you guys weren't aware, he did musicals before he was Wolverine. Awesome. And over on YouTube, Las Vegas. Hey, what's up? There's a ton of resellers in Las Vegas. I feel like Florida is a really big hotspot. Like half of the resellers I know live in Florida. And then another quarter of the resellers I know live in Las Vegas. Coconut Creek. I don't know where that is, but I live in Florida. Sunny California. Awesome. All right. So yeah. So the big price gouging news that happened, I believe just this past week. Basically what happened is a lot of different AGs in a couple different states were trying to go through the legal ramifications and get people in trouble for price gouging who are in the e-commerce field. Well, there was just sort of a precedent set by, I believe it was Kansas. I wasn't able to pull up the article here. Maybe I'll find it afterwards and link it down in the description or something. But I believe it was the courts in Kansas just recently ruled that trying to go after e-commerce sellers in Kentucky was unconstitutional because what the Attorney General was doing was trying to enforce Kentucky laws countrywide, because an e-commerce seller is not, it's not like one person who exists in Kentucky and they're only selling in Kentucky. The person might be located in Kentucky, but they're selling everywhere. And so for them to try and like enforce Kentucky price gouging laws, it doesn't work everywhere, because you're sort of enforcing things sometimes in states that don't even have them. Like I don't think Texas has price gouging laws. I could be wrong about that. There's a couple states that are like, yeah, we don't care. Price gouging is not a thing, and we don't legislate that. Which hopefully more states move in that direction, because it's kind of an antiquated idea. But yeah, so that was the big news, that court ruled that they couldn't, in fact, get e-commerce sellers in trouble for any sort of price gouging thing. And so I'm hoping that because of that, other attorney generals will sort of follow suit and realize, okay, yeah, this isn't really worth our time to try to pursue. And then it falls out of the media, and once it's out of the media, then your customers are no longer complaining about it. So yeah, so that was the big news that I was excited about this past week. Some other things. Let's see. We have been. I was trying to check the previous. Oh, that's weird. I was trying to check the to see what people wanted to chat about. I saw some people talking about hiring out help. I was probably going to, I might do a YouTube video about that, because it's kind of a topic as far as like hiring out help. And I think specifically they wanted to know about like insurance that they needed to get. And basically when you're hiring out help, a person's going to fall into two categories. Either they're going to be a W-2 employee, or they're going to be like a 1099 independent contractor. Which way you have them set up will depend on what you have them doing and how you have them doing it. So you'll need to check with like your local laws as far as what, like when does a person shift from being a 1099 employee to a W-2 employee. And once they make that shift, then there's a lot of other things that you'll need to do for your W-2 employee that you don't really need to do for someone who's just on a 1099 as a contractor. Okay, so it's going to differ depending on your location, and it's going to differ on what you have them doing and how you have them doing it. There are some laws that are in place that can be a little bit confusing, and I mean, even among accountants, there's even disagreement about this. I've read a lot of articles, listened to a lot of podcasts, talked to my own accountant, talked to other people's accountants, and there's not like an exact yes, this is always the case, or no, this is always the case. Yeah, it's sort of changes, and a lot of the laws aren't necessarily written for what we're doing, and so it's sort of an interpretation of some things that are meant. So like one thing is, if the person is using your tools, then they should be a W-2 employee, but then a lot of accountants say that's really only applicable in the construction field, where like if they're bringing their own tools, then they're a contractor. But if you're like hiring people off the street and they're using your own stuff, they're using your own bulldozers, things like that, then they're working for you as opposed to an outside source. So I think some of the accounts I've talked to have sort of argued it in that way. But I'm not an accountant, so I can't really tell you what to do, but yeah. All right. So yeah, those are the big things that were happening this week. I'll sort of go through. It might be a shorter one. But yeah, if you guys missed it earlier, if I'm looking frazzled and crazy, I just had a long beach day. We've been at the beach the whole day, and I just got back, but since I missed last week's live chat, I wanted to make sure I jumped on here with you guys today. So yeah, so if you have any questions or topics you want to cover, let me know in the comment section, and I'll start kind of going through some of these. So let's see. So Mercedes has an item listed, and it turns out they accidentally put a different variation of the product, and 2 of them sold. She wants to know if she needs to contact the customer to let them know, or just cancel the orders and delete the listing. I would cancel the orders and delete the listing. Yeah, it's a mistake. Try not to make that mistake, because that's kind of a big one, but it does happen. So if you've caught it in time before the order has shipped out, then cancel the orders and delete those listings. This is what I would personally do. Oh, Perry was the one that was asking about like workers' comp. So yeah, if you have W-2 employees, then there's all sorts of things that you need to have in place. If you have 1099 employees, there's a lot of things that you don't need to have in place. But you should talk to your accountant about those specifics. Let's see. Corey is saying that she is stumped on the best way to manage accounting. She has Inventory Lab, and then she's also selling on eBay. She's using the profit from eBay to build Amazon, so not sure how to accurately combine everything. Should I run both through a GoDaddy or something else? Yeah, I don't know a good solution because again, I'm not an accountant. Sherry she's in our group. She is actually an accountant. She might have a better idea for this. If you are spending 100% of your eBay proceeds to buy Amazon stuff, I think it gets a little bit easier because you're not really taking anything out of eBay. Like your buy cost, yeah, I'm not sure exactly on that, Corey, as far as combining both and getting a really accurate. We'll sell like our returns and things like that on eBay, but it's not really that big of a thing. Yeah, my sort of knee-jerk reaction is to say create 2 different bank accounts, have one for eBay, one for Amazon. When you get paid from eBay, transfer that money to the second account. So it's sort of like business A is sort of fronting the money to business B so that business B can continue buying more inventory. And then you would just do the major accounting for business B. Business A is just a 0 across the board. Like everything that you're buying and selling, it's netting out to 0 because you're paying off all your profits. That's sort of my knee-jerk reaction as far as how I would do that. But yeah, GoDaddy could probably help. Definitely an accountant could help. That's probably the better route to go. Is a hot dog a sandwich is what Travis asks. I think it depends on how the bun is cut. That's what I would say. Robert, is forming an LLC the best way to not lose your butt if you get sued? It helps. It definitely helps. There is a sort of a what do they call it? Like the veil of separation or something. There's some term for that. But yeah, if you're a sole proprietor and you get sued, everything that you own, the business owns because you are the business. Whereas once you formulate an LLC, there's a separation between you and your business. Your business is now an entity and you are an entity. So your house, your car, things like that are no longer tied to the business. Whereas as a sole proprietor, you are the business. So all of your assets are the business's assets. So yeah, an LLC definitely would help you not lose your butt if you were to get sued. Perry was asking about our Q webinar from last year. It is archived. So it's not like available for sale, but the people who purchased it last year still have access to it. Yeah, I will probably be putting that back up. Let's see, this is the end of June. Probably like the middle of July, if I had to guess. I'll need to look back through it, see if there's anything that I need to update or change, Perry. But we do have a Q4 webinar over on our website, hustlebuddiesofficial.com. And I will probably be putting that out probably the middle of July because you should be preparing for Q4 right around that time. All right. Okay, let me see what other questions we've got. Let me pop over to YouTube. What are currently reselling? Everything. Everything. Unfortunately, I don't have a good answer for that, but it's not a great question. If you ask a more specific question, then I can get you a much more specific answer. Let's see. Yeah, we have a lot of suggestions for streaming ideas. Awesome. Yes, StreamYard, Restream, Minicam. Awesome. I appreciate that, guys. All right, Danielle asks, do I need to label individual items before shipping? When does that happen? When I say I'm ready to send a shipment. Yeah, so it sort of depends on if you're using Seller Central or Inventory Lab. I believe, now I could be wrong about this because I have not used Seller Central to list an item in about 2.5 years. So my information here might be a little bit old, might be a little bit rusty or foggy. I believe that all of the labels would get printed at the end when you're ready to ship it. Maybe someone else in chat could actually help me, since I'm sure that there is someone in chat that is currently using Seller Central to list items. We use Inventory Lab now. If you're using Inventory Lab to list your items, the label will print immediately as soon as you list that one single item, and you would label it and then put it in your box. But I'm not sure if the orders flips around for Seller Central, Danielle. Let's see. Jessica asks, a great question. What's the best way to deal with late deliveries because of USPS? Buyers who want a refund because of it. So, Jessica, the best course of action at first is to stall them. So, usually we'll get a lot of, we did a lot of FBM the past couple months, and we had a lot of customers say, oh, this was marked as delivered, but I never got it. I want a refund, okay? And what USPS very often does, I don't know why, but they'll mark something as delivered once it gets to like the final hub and not to the final house. And so usually it goes to the person's house the very next day. Or maybe it goes to their mailbox and they didn't walk out to their mailbox. Like there was a customer like, oh, I didn't get this. And I said, oh, can you go check your mailbox? And they messaged back, oh yeah, it was in my mailbox. Like, come on, people, check your mailbox before you ask me to refund your item because you think you didn't get it. Like, go to the literal place where your mail is delivered. But yeah, so what I tell people, I have a template that I will send people, and it shifts. Like I apologize for the situation, but I admit no fault in that initial message. I will explain that oftentimes, because of the coronavirus, USPS has been marking these shipments one day early when it gets to their station. Here are the steps that they can do. They can call their local station to see where it's at. They should check their mailbox. They should ask their neighbor. They should ask anyone else who lives in the house if they saw it. Do all of that. Let them know that you will also be contacting USPS on your end to see if you can locate the item, and then end it with something like, please let me know how that goes, or something along those lines. Basically, you're just trying to stall it for like a day or two, and 9 times out of 10, a day or two goes by and they found the package and you never hear from them again. If it is actually delivered late and the person wants a refund, there's 2 different answers for this. You can refund them. That's not the wrong answer. It'll cost you some money, but you can refund them since it was outside the window. Or you can tell them to file an A to Z claim. Technically, in Amazon's terms, they call it like the A to Z guarantee. And as sellers, if I purchase shipment through Amazon's portal, and if I ship it on time, and if I fulfill everything from my end, then if something arrives late out of no fault of my own, Amazon says that they will cover it. So that's the official answer. Now, sometimes people have had issues getting A to Z claims to actually work. Sometimes they've had chat reps say you can't tell customers to do that, this, that, and the other. But it is literally what Amazon says that they will do. Like, it's their part of the bargain for purchasing shipment through Amazon's portal. So, Jessica, what I do, first I stall them, and then personally I tell them to do the A to Z claim, and it's never backfired for me. So that's how I handle that. Steven, when you're buying enough inventory that it matters, should you use different cards or cash for in-store purchases to avoid tracking that could result in restrictions? So a couple answers with this. Cash, never. You should never use cash to purchase anything ever in your life. I know there's a lot of Dave Ramsey people here. This isn't like a hit on that at all. I'm saying not using a card is always a mistake because of fraud and because of chargebacks and things like that, because of theft. So specifically for Amazon, for a business, for your personal life, yeah, you can do whatever you want, but for a business, never use cash. It's so difficult to track cash from an accounting aspect. With a card, here's my accounts payable, here's the accounts going out. Obviously, I spent this money and we're good. From Amazon's end, if Amazon ever says, hey, prove that this is an authentic item, one of the steps that I personally do just to make sure I'm covering all of my bases is I will include a screenshot of my bank statement with my card number highlighted that's registered with Amazon, with my name and my address, and then the actual transaction where I purchased the item. And then I'm also sending them the receipt, but I'm highlighting like the receipt number so they can see, oh yeah, this is the receipt. It's in Nathan's name. Here's Nathan's bank account. Here's that same receipt on Nathan's bank account. Here's the item on the receipt. Bing, bing, boom, bing, boom. Like there's no way for them to argue their way out of it that it's inauthentic. So as far as different cards, you're really not gonna run into that issue. That's not something that really happens. You can use different cards. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars at some stores and nothing happens. Maybe at Kohl's or maybe at Target that might be a thing because they're not as like reseller friendly, but it doesn't really matter all that much in my opinion. I haven't personally seen anything bad come of using the same card. And usually using the same card is easier from an accounting aspect because it's like, oh, this is my inventory purchasing card, and you just put everything on that card. So I have never seen the need to use a different card unless like you're specifically banned from a store or if like your Kohl's account is locked down or something like that. Like there's times where you could, but I would say it's always after the crap has hit the fan. You don't really need to preemptively try and use different cards to stop it from happening. That's just sort of your backup plan, is use a different card. Yeah, and Chris Grant was going back for how to not lose your butt if you get sued is carry in business insurance like we're supposed to, because that's what the business umbrella insurance is for, especially if you have a lot of assets. Oh, and Stephen was answering some Daniela's question up there, so check that out. Let's see. Okay, lost connection, so not sure. Answer the tie question. Can I send the item with the tie hanger if the hanger has the tag and the product information? Amazon doesn't really like hangers. They don't want hangers. I remember reading your thing. I haven't looked at the specific TOS. I know you said like regular sized hangers. I'm trying to think if I've ever sold a tie. Yeah, it's a tough call because you're saying like the manufacturer, like the tag and everything is part of the hanger. So removing the hanger, I would assume, is then removing like the UPC and all of that stuff. So that is kind of a tough call. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that there is necessarily an incorrect answer that you will get in serious trouble for. That's how I will answer that. I would be very surprised if Amazon sent you a nasty gram one way or the other. Like if you do it one way and they wanted it the other, I don't think Amazon is gonna do a whole lot. That's not like that's pretty low on the totem pole of bad things that you can do on Amazon. Specifically with your tie, like if it has the UPC and all of that. If it doesn't have the UPC or if like the tie itself has all of that information on it, then you absolutely get rid of the hanger. But I do see sort of the predicament as far as if all of the manufacturer information is on the tag or on the hanger, and if you remove that, it no longer has any of that information, then yeah, that could be a little sticky. If you do decide to send it with the hanger, I'd probably do something like bubble wrap or something along with the poly bag, just so the hanger doesn't poke out and hit something. But it'll probably be kind of a pain. That's probably why I haven't sold ties before on Amazon. Let's see. What about Carter's two-piece items where the items are attached to the hanger? We take those off, Melissa, because yeah, Amazon doesn't like hangers. Hangers tend to poke through poly bags. They tend to catch other things. So it's a logistical thing why they say that. They don't want to have like damaged items. They don't want to have broken hangers. That's another, like, clothing is very bendable. From the hanger, package them in the same poly. Or yeah, and Ethan has that's a fine suggestion as well. Like if you take your heat gun or Scotty peel or something, and you take the label off of the hanger and you put it either on like the tie or on the poly bag or something like that, that could be a solution as well. But yeah, so for Carter's two-piece items, we don't have. I've never sent in anything on a hanger. We've sent in suits. We've sent in lots of pants, lots of bras, lots of shirts, lots of whatever else. And I've never sent a hanger on anything. There's pretty much always a better solution, and Amazon doesn't want hangers. So, all right, let me see. Pop over to YouTube real fast. Sorry, I've been answering all the Facebook questions and ignoring my YouTube folks. The light is right. Oh, let me try and let's see. That sort of works. Yeah, unfortunately, again, because I'm using like two different things, I have two different cameras going on. I can't share one camera for both my live streams on Facebook and YouTube. So the light is just sort of gonna be in the way here, unfortunately. Here, let me move that a little bit too. There we go. All right, so let's see. I started using for adding items and shipping. Some items are still pending to be shipped. Can I start using Inventory Lab right away? Oh, yeah. Yeah, Inventory Lab will sync up with Seller Central. It reconciles everything. It pulls in all your past information. It pulls in your sales, I think, from the past like 90 days or 120 days or something like that. Yeah, Inventory Lab is fantastic. And then our shameless plug, if you want to use our affiliate link, it's awesome because it doesn't cost you anything extra. And it's how we keep the lights on for us buddies. But yeah, no, Inventory Lab is great, and it'll automatically sync up with everything. What product do you use to retain your items? I don't understand your question, Nicole. Tag? Yeah, I don't. Elaborate on that a little bit, Nicole, because I don't know what you're asking. Tamina on YouTube asks, does the brand matter of an item if it's handmade? Recycle items? So that it doesn't make sense because nothing we do is handmade. Handmade, Amazon, is like an entirely different thing. It has nothing to do with retail arbitrage or online arbitrage or wholesale or private label. Handmade is an entirely, like, basically a different internet site that I don't personally use, so I cannot give you any advice on selling handmade things. But a handmade thing would not have a brand name. Well, I guess if you're making it yourself and you have your own brand, you could sort of brand it that way. But that's not at all what we do. And I don't actually recommend Amazon for handmade stuff. I would recommend Etsy. There's very, very few things that can work well on Amazon handmade. Yeah, I would check out Etsy. I know there's one person in our group who does handmade stuff on Amazon, and he does pretty well, but it's like really high-end signs. What's a bolo? Be on the lookout. So if people say, oh, here's a bolo, or I want a bolo, or if you saw us talking about bolo lists, it's just like a list of items like, hey, go check this store for these items. Ninja Williams is having issues fixing stranded inventory with potential high pricing errors. You and every other Amazon seller. So there's two things that you can do. Three things, sorry. So the first is make sure that your min price and max price in your pricing dashboard is set so that whatever price you're listed at is between those two numbers. Okay, that's step one. If that's good, then step two is to try to drop it by a penny a couple times, see what other people are listing it for, see if you can match them profitably. Step three would be to then open a support ticket and say, hey, what's going on? I've already fixed this. Everything's good on my end. here's this proof that I'm selling it for a reasonable price, blah, 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 blah. Please activate this, okay? And then fourth, you can pray. there's not a good solution for this. It's one of the many issues that Amazon faces where there is not a good solution, unfortunately. All right, yeah, hopefully that helps, Ninja Williams. But yeah, we all deal with that. It frustrates all of us. David, yeah, David, I think you were the one that I was talking about. You're the guy that makes those high-end signs, I think. So yeah, there's very specific things that can do well on Amazon. So that's the type of handmade thing that can do really well because it's like high-end, it's fancy, things like that. There's a lot of people, I mean, I don't know what Tamina was thinking with handmade stuff, but I see a lot of people who are like, oh, I want to sell my earrings, or like, oh, my daughter makes these really cool necklaces, things like that. That kind of stuff is not going to do well on Amazon Handmade. That's not what it's for. It's for like very high-end designer-looking things. Yeah, used video games on Amazon all day. Yeah, we've sold a ton of used video games, especially during Corona. Oh my gosh. Everyone was bored. Everyone's kids were bored. And a lot of GameStops were shut down. Like, people couldn't go to GameStop to get their games. So yeah, the video game market exploded the past couple months. So if you want to get into that, definitely. There's a ton of money to be made there. Madison on Facebook is asking, Amazon is requesting a picture of a bank or credit statement. No screenshots. Will the bank print out one for me? They should. I don't know any bank that wouldn't do that for you. Yeah, you can, if you have a local bank, I'm sure that you can go there and have them print something for you. That's some sort of credit statement. If it's not local, you might be able to ask for like a PDF version that you could then print and then take a picture of that. I don't know why Amazon always asks for things in a certain way. And it's not even always the same, Madison. Like, some people are asked for it that way and other people aren't. So yeah, that should not be an issue to get either from your bank or like downloading a PDF and then printing that. All right, so that was all the questions on YouTube. Let me double check Facebook. It's more fun though, and I think, yeah, that's about it. Awesome. So yeah, I think this was a little bit shorter of a one. Sorry about all the tech issues at the start, guys. Hopefully that answered everyone's questions. Why does it show Canada and America different listing sites? Because there's an Amazon.com and an Amazon.ca. So if you're trying to sell in Canada, then you want the .ca, and if you're trying to sell in America, it's .com. There's actually Amazon in, like, I want to say about 10 different countries. It's like there's Amazon.jp, Amazon.au, Amazon.uk, Amazon.gr, Amazon.fr, Amazon.mx, Amazon. I think Brazil BR. Which is better? Where are you? Are you in America or are you in Canada? And that's going to be your answer. Have you tried bras in other countries? So the thing is, David, that's a great question. I'm glad you brought this up, Tamina. So if you're in America, you're going to want an American account. Starting off. Later on, absolutely, you can explore other things. But if you're in America, then you create an American account. So on this topic, as far as like selling in other countries, I tried it a long time ago, and I think I did something wrong. And like many people in the group, where they're like, oh, my account was linked to another account and shut down. So my Canadian account and my Mexico account were both shut down, even though it's like part of the same account. Like in my homepage, I can select like, okay, am I looking at my American homepage, my Canadian homepage, or my Mexico homepage? And I can select the other ones, and the other ones are both banned because they say they've been associated with an account. So I could probably fix that if I really wanted to. I haven't. The reason I haven't done more of it is because so much of what we do is retail arbitrage, where I'm buying like 1 to 5 of a certain product, and it's not worth the headache of like import tax and VAT tax and shipping and all of that stuff. It's not worth those issues if I'm just selling 1, 2, 3 of an item. If I had a private label item, or if I had like really big wholesale accounts, I mean, we have some wholesale accounts, but and then I guess if I had accounts in those countries, I would try this with wholesale. But if you have wholesale accounts and you see an item that's selling really well in the States and you think, you know what, I bet that this would do well in Canada, or I bet that this would do well in Mexico, you can absolutely go down that route. Just know that it's a lot of hoops to jump through, a lot of like tax stuff that you'll have to figure out. It's worth it if you have a large volume of a few SKUs. It's not worth it if you have a small volume of a lot of SKUs. So that's why we haven't done more so in other countries. We will be doing a trip. So my wife and I are actually looking at maybe in the future, like a year, 2, 3 years from now, maybe getting a house in Italy. And there is an Amazon in Italy. And so we were thinking about trying to do like open an Italian account and doing retail arbitrage in Italy for Italy. And so we wouldn't have to deal with all of like the import export stuff if we're in country. So if that were to happen, David, we will definitely do a ton of YouTube videos about it, because I've never seen anyone on YouTube do like multi-country retail arbitrage. And that would be really cool to be sort of like the first content creators to sort of show that. So, oh, and we've got a couple more questions. Awesome. Let's see. Received grocery shipment with different expiration dates. What should I do? So B2, there was just a big conversation about this, where the technical Amazon rules and the reality of what basically everyone does don't perfectly match up. So Amazon only wants officially 1 expiration date per shipment. And I think it's important that everyone does know that in like Amazon's, I don't know if I'd call them rules, but in their like regulations for how they want a shipment sent, they specify that only 1 expiration date per shipment. In reality, that's not really a realistic rule that they can implement. It's not really something that they can like look into and check and things like that. So your least used option, I know very few, if any, sellers that are doing it this way, would be you create different shipment plans for each expiration date. That is the safest method. It's going to take you the most time, and the fewest people do it that way. The middle option is within Inventory Lab. Let's say you have 2 expiration dates. You've got like June 8th and June 10th, and you've got 10 and 10. In Inventory Lab, instead of saying that you have 20 items, you're going to say you have 10 items, put the expiration date as June 8th, and then edit it and say that you actually have 20 items, and then change the expiration date to June 10th. And your first 10 tags will all print out with the June 8th expiration date, and then your next 10 tags will all print out with the June 10th expiration date. I know a lot of people doing it that way. The most common method that is like the least compliant, but virtually everyone does it this way, is they just choose the shortest expiration date and they mark everything with the shortest expiration date. So those are the 3 different methods that are used and Amazon's rules, and you can decide for yourself what you want to do. If you buy something in a state that's different from your state, does that ever create any tax implications? Not really, that I know of. Again, I'm not an accountant, but no, not really. Yeah, because you're paying, here's the thing. So goods that are purchased to be resold should not be taxed. You're not supposed to pay tax on that because you are not the end consumer. The government doesn't, well, the government does double dip, but in this situation, the government doesn't double dip. So if you're paying 10% sales tax and then your end customer is also paying 10% sales tax, well, the government doesn't need that much sales tax. They only want the end customer. So when you go to another state, you won't have a tax-exempt certificate because your tax-exempt certificate is only good for your state. So you're going to be paying sales tax in the other state anyways. And so that sort of takes care of any possible liabilities that you might have. Now, different people run it different ways. Our accountant, as far as like paying sales tax, we calculate all of our sales tax that we paid over the entire year. We add that as an expense line item to our cost of goods at year end. Because the government doesn't need that money, and that's completely acceptable by the IRS. So that's what we do. I'll take us to Italy. Have you ever used Scouts to find a specific product, like people, like Boy Scouts? I haven't ever hired a Boy Scout to find a specific product. I have hired people to go out and buy products for me. That is something that I have done. Yeah. So, all right. And then pop over to YouTube because I saw just a couple more questions over there. Do you take chances with an item that has just launched according to Keepa or has lesser ratings but cheap? Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Nicole asks, what do you use to place a new UPC tag on your clothing? So Nicole, go ahead and watch some of our other YouTube videos. We break that down a ton of times. It's part of the process of doing Amazon, is you'll be printing out your new tags. It's called a Rollo printer. It's a thermal printer that prints out a little tag that you get from Amazon, and we put that on it. But yeah, so that's a fairly beginner question, which is great. But we have so many videos going over like the beginner steps. You're gonna get a lot more information a lot faster by going through those types of videos that we have already put out, rather than trying to like search individual questions. I'd say watch like our longer. There was like an hour-long video we did about our story. And yeah, it covers a lot of that stuff. Tamina, is it illegal if bought clothing to... Hang on, I'm trying to figure out what this says. I think you're asking if it's illegal to sell clothing from another country. I would say to avoid that. It's not... The act itself is not illegal. However, most clothing that you're purchasing in another country to sell profitably on Amazon is going to be counterfeit, and you will not have the chain of custody papers. So if Amazon ever gets you in trouble, they're going to ask you for your either receipts or invoices to prove the authenticity of an item, to prove it's not fake, to prove it's not used, to prove that you in fact purchased this for resale and all of that stuff. If you get it from another country, you won't really have all of that documentation. So, yeah, if you're getting it from another country, you probably won't have that type of documentation. Also, it sounds, Tamina, like you are brand new to Amazon. So what I'm going to say is make sure that brand already exists on Amazon. If you're trying to sell a brand new piece of clothing that does not exist on Amazon yet, that's not a rabbit trail you want to go down. That's not going to work. Yeah, there's, I think last time I checked, there was 1 billion different articles of clothing on Amazon. So like if you're trying to make a brand new listing for a piece of clothing, you're going to have to run like paid ads for it. You're going to have to do giveaways. You're going to have to promote the heck out of this just to get people to know that it exists in order to buy it. So creating a brand new, it's popular in Pakistan and Indian communities. They have to buy it directly. Maybe. Yeah, I think, so here's what I would say, Tamina. I think that could be an avenue to look at once you sort of get your feet under you on Amazon. So I'm not going to say like rule that out completely, like, oh no, never do that. But if what I'm reading, if I'm understanding all of this correctly, if it is in fact authentic, like all of that, if you can prove its authenticity with like an invoice or some sort of receipt that's in English, if you can cover all of those bases, then it's a possibility. But you don't want to start with that, because that's like you're like jumping into the ocean before you know how to swim. So learn how to swim, do some like easy local flips. So go to like Walmart, go to a local store like Kohl's, and flip some clothing that already exists on Amazon that you can just buy for cheap, like on clearance or on sale or something like that. So learn some of the basics that way. And then once you have the basics, then look into creating your own brand on Amazon and putting up that like popular Pakistani designer clothing up there. So it could work, and that could be a really interesting niche, because again, like I don't know anything about that. Most other people don't know anything about it, but within your niche, a ton of people know about it and no one's doing it. So yeah, it could be really good, but again, I wouldn't start with that. I would learn how to swim first before you try to jump into something like that, because that's going to be a really big process. Jerry. Yeah, so Jerry asks if I'm going to do a video about selling on Walmart. Fingers crossed. I applied to sell on Walmart 2 days ago. It's the weekend, so I'm not expecting to hear from them. And they said it'll take like a week or two. But I'm recording like the whole process. I'm writing down what I'm doing, what they're saying, and all of that. Assuming that everything goes well, which it should. Then we'll have like our Hustle Buddies account that we can show you guys. And we'll get that all going and show you guys how to do it. Because again, there's not a whole lot of content out there about like selling on Walmart and setting up an account, and especially like retail arbitrage on Walmart. There's like nothing about that. Maybe there's some private label stuff, but retail arbitrage doesn't really exist yet over there. So that could be a really cool niche to talk about. Ravonda asks if we have videos about making bundles. We do. So it's a part of our huge grocery course. We have a massive like how to sell groceries on Amazon course, and a really big chunk right in the middle of it breaks down how to make bundles, how to get like GTIN exemptions, how to do all the photos of that, how to create the listing, all that. It's a huge topic. It's too big for me to just do some YouTube videos about it. And also, if I did YouTube videos about it, part of the reason why bundles are great is because not a whole, like it's a difficult barrier to entry, and so bundles are very profitable. You don't see a whole lot of YouTube videos about bundles, sort of because if there was like a ton of free bundle YouTube videos explaining everything about it, it wouldn't be profitable anymore, unlike some other things. So yeah, it's a part of our big grocery course, so if you want to check that out, you can. But as far as like YouTube videos about it, there's not really much that exists out there. What do I use to balance the books for my business? Inventory Lab does 100% Inventory Lab plus my accountant. So Inventory Lab at the end of the year gives me a profit and loss statement. I print out my profit and loss statement. I hand that to my accountant, and I'm done for the year. And that's it. Do you need to YouTube with selling? No, I YouTube because we are teaching other people how to sell on Amazon, but you don't need to YouTube in order to sell on Amazon. But definitely check out our channel. If you're not subscribed yet, subscribe. Go back and watch some of our videos. And if you're watching on YouTube and you don't know about our Facebook group, we have a Facebook group. It's facebook.com/groups/hustlebuddies. It's like 15,000 people in there. And everyone's happy to help answer questions. There's a ton of like units and things like that. It's all free. That people can go through to learn about stuff. So definitely check that out, Tamina, if you're interested. All right, and last call for Facebook questions. Oh, there's a bunch, it looks like, that I missed. Where should I start after clearance racks at Kohl's? Go to the next Kohl's. I mean, you can check some full price stuff, but full price stuff at Kohl's is usually overpriced. Usually, there's bra clearance, there's pants clearance, there's men's pants clearance, there's baby clearance, there's toy clearance, there's makeup clearance. There's lots of different clearance areas within Kohl's. If you hit all of those, probably your best bet, your most efficient use of your time is going to be go to the next Kohl's. Is there an easy way to track refunds, returns? All of that is done automatically, Angela. Oh, making sure you get reimbursed for damaged stuff. Yes, actually. So there's a tool. I wonder if I can reply to this. I can't. There's a tool that I use. It's called Seller Locker. We have a cool affiliate with them. So if you do end up getting Seller Locker, again, we always appreciate you using our links. But if for some reason you don't want to use a free affiliate link, you can check out Seller Locker for yourself. I will post a comment after this video is done so that you can get a link to that. But Seller Locker will track those like reimbursements that Amazon should give to you, but sometimes they forget. Yeah, we use Seller Locker for that. And the best part is it's sort of free. They don't actually charge you anything unless they actually like get you money. They just take a percentage of the money that they earn you. So it's not money that you would get anyway. So it's sort of free. Nikisha, yeah, we've used a lot of shoppers. Some states, interesting, Sherry, I didn't know that some states allow tax exempt from other states. They have like reciprocity. Interesting. I did not know that. Yeah, I don't bother with that as like if I'm going out of state, I just sort of assume that they don't, and I write off the tax paid as part of our end of year cost of goods. That's what our accountant has us do for the IRS. He said that's, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, Scotty Peelers. Thank you. Just straight to Amazon through the email. Let's see. I think we answered that already. Angela she got approved for a brand, but not the category yet. How long should you wait? I would say after a week, ask them for an update about it. Yeah, sometimes it just takes a while, especially right now because everything's crazy with the virus. 2 shipments were delivered, but the status hasn't changed. Is there anything you can do, Chris? Nope, there is nothing you can do. Just keep on waiting. Yep, go watch some Netflix or something. Megs, thanks for hopping on. Yeah, no worries. Just finished my last shipment. Kids get paid to help prep. Awesome. 285% return on investment. That is awesome, Meg. A rookie mistake set you back an hour, but you learned some lessons. Yep, that's awesome. Yeah, like people who make mistakes and they get really frustrated and pissed off. It's like, that's a good thing because especially when you're a beginner, like make rookie mistakes when you're a rookie. Because if you make a rookie mistake when you're selling millions of dollars a year, well, now your mistake probably cost you thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars instead of like $10 or $100 or whatever it is. So yeah, that's. I mean, it sounds funny, but that's awesome that you made a mistake and you learned from it, and hopefully you won't repeat that same mistake and you learned it for next time. So. Yeah, Walmart looked interesting for us. They surpassed most other places. They've got the second most online sales right now, Walmart.com. Awesome. All right, I think that is all the questions for today. Thanks for bearing with the tech difficulties. If you're on YouTube, again, don't forget to thumbs up the video. And subscribe. If you're on Facebook, again, give us a thumbs up. Check out the YouTube channel. We'll be posting stuff every week. I'm going to actually start posting a lot more on YouTube, I think. I've been doing like 1 video a week. I think I want to up that because, yeah, I've been watching some interesting YouTube creator content to help me make better videos. So I want to start practicing. All right. Thanks for bearing with me, guys. We will see you next Sunday for next Sunday's live chat. Hopefully, I will have a better streaming thing set up so I can be looking at the same camera the whole time. All right, we'll see you guys. Hustle on.